Hi, I'm Michelle Renee Hyatt of American Quilter Society, and we are at AQS QuiltWeek Paducah. We are in the category 3, which is our first entry at a Paducah Quilt Week contest, and it is sponsored by Gamel. I am with Nick Anthony Jarrett,
Yep.
and he is from Oregon, and this is his first quilt that you've ever made.
Yes.
Not just entered in an AQS contest,
Yeah.
but the first one
quilt.
you've ever made. And you weren't a quilter before.
Nope.
So talk to me a little bit about how did you become a quilter?
Well, I've always had a fascination with sewing machines, and being a car guy, I really wanted to do the upholstery in my trucks. So that was kind of an underlying thing. And my wife had made comments about, I really want to learn how to sew. I want to make stuffed animals and whatnot. So I bought a sewing machine, and I was like, well, I don't know how to use this thing. So I went down the rabbit hole of how to use sewing machines, how to quilt. And I saw quilting, like, that looks easy. It's just pieces. It's triangles and squares. It's not too hard, And so I went to our local Joann's and picked up a book, and I found the hardest pattern I could find, which was a Lone Star. And turns out it was just strip piecing and cutting and strip piecing
Just
again.
strip piecing.
I was like, oh, that wasn't too bad. So it just kind of evolved from there. And the upholstery thing is kind of just like off to the side now, but
Now your car seats have still not been
yeah,
upholstered.
yeah, and my wife still doesn't
know. But you have a quilt
yeah.
at Paducah Quilt
I
Week.
do,
So
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I did not know this would ever happen.
Talk to me a little bit about the points going into this inner border.
Yes.
Like, how did they happen?
So that is a Bob Ross happy accident moment, and I had made these triangles and squares to size. I forgot about seam allowance, and I was like, well, shoot, how do I fix that? I'm all out of blue fabric. I needed to go to the quilt shop, but they're closed. And I'm like, I have a bunch of that fabric from the center of the quilt, and what if I just, that might look good. And I put it together, and it just kind of...
It actually draws your eye.
It does. Yeah,
so
it brings the star out. Yeah.
Yes, it brings it forward, and it makes it look like it's a little dimensional.
Yeah.
All right, now you quilted this as well.
I did.
It's on a long arm, so you just showed up at a place to rent, or did you know that you could rent a long arm?
At the quilt shop that I was frequenting, it was Chicks and a Rooster. Pam, she was wonderful. She was basically my cheerleader the whole entire time. Like, I made the Lone Star. You got to add to it. I added to it. You got to keep adding to it. It was just cheering me on. And eventually, I was like, you got a long arm sitting over there and nobody's using it. And I really want to get this thing quilted. And so she rented the time out to me, and I put 60 hours on her long arm.
And just free motion.
All free motion. There is some ruler work in the ribbon and the chains, but
not computerized.
Nothing's computerized. That's not my style.
Nick, you just jump all in.
I do.
Love your spirit.
I do.
So last but not least, you got to talk to me about these corners.
Oh, those corners. Yes. So I made the chain links, which they looked cool, but they just ended. And I didn't like that. And I wanted to figure out, how can I make those connect? And the way I drew out, I liked it. I drew this out, and I had the binding kind of tying in, but then I was like, it's got these corners that I just don't like. They're just empty. And I was like, well, what if I made essentially pot holders and hand stitch them into the corners? Like, that'll look cool, right? And that's what I did. I just sewed pot holders in the corners.
Well, they're Dresden fans.
Yep,
yes,
exactly.
You put, and then you have the little, I don't know what to call it, the little zhuzh.
Yeah, well, there's a hole, and I had like 2 days to get this done for our quilt show last year. And I was like, what do I do? So I just sewed these little pieces of fabric on there and scrunched them up and hand stitched them in. And
I love it. It's a fabulous element. It really is. It's really beautiful.
I get a lot of compliments on those corners.
So you're going to keep going. Do you have another project in the works already? Another quilt?
Yeah. I'm actually breaking away from the geometrical traditional patterns. And Ricky Timms has been helping me out a lot. And he's taught me how to do curve piecing using freezer paper. And it's been a lot of fun. And it's a lot it's mindless compared to this. Like this is math and
You have
geometry.
to really think about it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that you just draw a line, cut it, you sew it, and
it's
you're
very
done.
relaxing, right?
Yeah, it's way more relaxing, and I love it. And you get more organic shapes out of it, and I like it a lot. So I'm stepping from here to here now, you know.
Especially with Ricky Timmons as a mentor, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
You know,
he's been fabulous.
yeah.
He's
I like Nick's style.
yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you so much. I can't wait to see where you go with this. I'm assuming this
Absolutely.
won't be our last interview.
I hope not.
So, but thank you so much for
Yes.
entering our contest. You too can enter our contest. You can find all the details at AmericanQuilter.com. We hope to see your quilt in the future. And you know what? You can't get in if you don't enter.
Nope.